Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz has been meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Merz is on his first state visit since taking office at a time when relations are strained over the war in Gaza. At a joint press conference, Merz reaffirmed support for Israel, but called for a halt to annexations in the West Bank. Netanyahu said the status quo in the occupied territory would remain for now, but stressed what he called opportunities for peace. In his remarks, Netanyahu underlined the historic bond between Germany and Israel.
What has happened since the rise of the Jewish state is that we've been able to fend off our enemies, and in order to do that, we developed capacities that now enable us to reciprocate. Not only does Germany work in the defense of Israel, but Israel, the Jewish state, 80 years after the Holocaust, works for the defense of Germany. And that is a historical change that comes at the time of great international turbulence and change.
And a German chancellor said Israel had a right to defend itself.
Israel has the right and indeed the duty to protect its citizens and the existence of its country against those who are regularly combating the right to exist of Israel. No state can accept that its citizens be murdered by Islamist terrorists, as happened in the kibbutzes near Gaza. And this is why we supported Israel, even when many turned away from Israel in the course of the Gaza war. But in the course of this war, the operations of the Israeli army put us in a dilemma.
I'm now joined by DW's Tanya Kramer in Jerusalem, who followed that press conference for us, of course. Tanya, what stood out for you in the two men's statements?
Well, I think what stood out for me, it was quite a long press conference, and we had joint statements by both leaders, and then they also answered quite a few questions from journalists, mostly traveling journalists and local journalists there. And we had, of course, Chancellor Merz. I mean, this is an inaugural, mostly symbolic visit to Germany, from the German Chancellor to Israel. You know, there have been irritations, there have been some criticism over the Gaza war, and at a certain point also an arms embargo, which has been lifted. But I think it was Merz is here basically to say again to Israel, we support you, we stand by your side. But he also had, of course, some thoughts to share. So he was saying this is such a precious friendship between Israel and Germany, also between the two leaders. They know each other for quite some time, a friendship that would never be taken for granted. He was in Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial, this morning, and he spoke about the shared history and of Germany's responsibility for Israel's security. But he also mentioned some of the criticism that has come up within Germany, the dilemma, he called it, over the actions of some of the Israel's military in Gaza, calling on the Prime Minister that they have to also act according to international law. He also went on to say that Germany will be supporting the next steps when it comes to Gaza, but obviously we all know the process right now in Gaza is basically stalled. We are still in the first phase after the ceasefire. There are also Israeli attacks every day. Israel says that they're still waiting for the remains of one hostage to be brought back from Gaza. And it's unclear when the second phase will actually start. So Germany has said, the Chancellor said there they will commit to rebuild Gaza, but still, this seems to be very far off at the moment. And he also talked again about the vision of a two-state solution. That's what Germany has done for a very long time, but in a way that was really cut short by the Israeli Prime Minister, who claimed that there had been a state, a de facto state, as he called it, run by Hamas in Gaza, and that didn't work out too well, referring obviously to October 7. And obviously this current Israeli government is basically rejecting the notion of a Palestinian state. So there was a lot to talk about and to see, and also obviously both men talked about the arms embargo.
Tanya Kramer there, thank you very much. And we go straight to a political correspondent, Bernd Riegert, here with me in the studio. We just listened to what Tanya said. Merz is in Jerusalem only for 24 hours, and he also said in his press conference he's arrived a bit later than he would have wished. Why is that?
Well, that's due to the circumstances. Both sides agreed that it's not the right time to visit Israel during this raging war in Gaza. Merz also criticized Israel right after he took office in May. And now that the ceasefire is more or less in place, they say now it's the right time to come and to talk and to display this deep friendship that we just saw. But you have to say that also the German foreign minister was already in Israel a few days after taking office, and also the president of Germany has been there. So this is, well, it's delayed, but it's the same content you could expect.
Now, Germany has supported Israel's right to respond to the October 7 attacks, but also Germany and also the German government and Merz have been critical of the war in Gaza. It's a fine balance that Merz has to find there. What's the official position right now on Gaza of the German government?
Well, you could hear that Mr. Merz said in his press conference, Israel has to align with international law. So this is a hint that also the situation in Gaza has to be altered. Humanitarian help has to come in. And this is something he also mentioned today to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, that has to be changed to open some border points actually to get help in. And Merz is also on a different page when it comes to the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinians as such. He says, in the very end, at the end, there must be a Palestinian state. And the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank should play a role also in governing Gaza in the future. Netanyahu rejected that, and now we will see what happens in the phase 2 of this Trump peace plan. But Germany is in a different position than Israel here.
Now, Germany, this looked like a very harmonious visit. Even though there are differences, as you've pointed out, and Tanya has pointed out. But the German government's position is generally supportive of Israel and Israel's security. How aligned is this position with public sentiment, public opinion in Germany? Well,
the principle has not changed for the government. But if you look at the polls, actually, it has changed over the last 2 years. The support for the special role for Germany in supporting the security of Israel has diminished. Only 30% or 31% of people asked by Infratest DIMAP in September, I guess, say they now support this special relationship. And 62 say Germany has no special obligation and special responsibility anymore. And this is in stark contrast to the official doctrine that says the core principle is there. Germany has to support Israel and for its security eternally.
Now, that also is reflected, of course, in rising anti-Semitism in Germany. That was also addressed in that press conference. Is this an important issue for Merz on a personal level? It seems to be.
Yeah, of course. There's harsh criticism by Israel and also by the Jews in Germany about anti-Semitism, which is on the rise, actually, in the last 2 years after the attack of Hamas. And Merz pledged that he will do everything he can to fight against anti-Semitism. It's a personal issue for him.
Thank you very much. Our political correspondent Bernd Riegert there here in the studio with me.